Okay, next we're going to take a look at the grid filters, and I think that what you're going to find is that they're extremely powerful and have all the features that are necessary for managing your data related to your grid. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take a look at the web pages, and we'll take a look at a filter on that page. Every page is set up so that a grid filter will either open up fully expanded or collapsed. And in the case for the web pages, because there's so many, I've chosen to programmatically set it so that it will open every time and expect the data to be filtered. Every grid filter has an identical 2 rows of input elements. There's a start date, and you can see if I take my mouse, it's got a calendar drop down. I can select a different calendar date. I can go in and I can change them in the date picker, and you can see that they change. I can change the year and so on. I can change the hour. So there's a lot of control built into these. They're extremely powerful. And you see over here the finish date is the same way. You have a drop down date picker and so on. There's a start date, offset days, and what this does is it allows the rapid selection of an offset from a given finish date. So if I choose -10 days, you're going to see that the start date was adjusted by 10 days from the finish date. If I change this to -30, you can see that it changes to 30 days less than the finish date. That's extremely powerful because number one, this can be set to whatever values that you want programmatically. It's very easy to do. The other thing is that you can set a custom per page that you're managing, so that you can pick good offset dates that make sense for the data that you're managing. But also it really speeds up things for people that actually work with the data. They know what to expect for a given page, and then they can easily filter very rapidly the data that's there. There's also the ability to determine the number of rows per page that is displayed, and right now the default is 10, but you can see there's a wide array of values, and those, just like everything else here, they can be modified programmatically. That the filters are dynamically generated with a patent pending code generator, but the key thing is that the way that the code is generated, it does it in a standardized way that the .NET framework expects, and that's critical, because what this does is it gives your developers maximum flexibility to be able to modify the code that's there and actually work with straight up .NET code. They aren't using custom classes and things for me. As far as code modification goes, they're using what they've known for years, utilizing .NET. Next, we'll take a look at the filters. I've got a modify filter and an OR, and so that modifier is combined with any of the elements in any rows that are underneath the top 2 rows. Then for refinements, they're similar, starts with, ends with, and exact, and they're self-explanatory what those do. One of the key things for this filter is that it prevents the automatic input of SQL, or the requirement of your people that are managing the data. They do not have to add and create their own filters, which not only will lead to errors, but it could also lead to corrupted data, which is even more severe. This icon over on the left, that's an automatically generated icon, and for any drop-down values, what happens is that icon is generated. I'll go ahead and I'll click on that. And you can see here in the pop-up, what it did is it pulled open the data associated with it. Now this could be thousands of records, and so it would make more sense to utilize it. I just want to show you that it's there. They're dynamically generated by the same code generator that generates a filter, and they're done intelligently. But you can see it pops up into a window an entire filter and data grid that is selectable. So I can go ahead and I can select the private default, and you can see now that that is selected in the drop down. And so it's extremely fast, rapid, and error proof. Now for this example, there's web page name, page description, keywords, and virtual path. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter for virtual path admin. And since I have similar selected, that means that anything that starts, ends, or admin anywhere within that particular filter will get chosen. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to deselect the use start date to make sure that they're all captured. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click submit filter. When I do that, you saw, hopefully anyway, I'll click on it again, this is a completely Ajax driven control. The filter actually via the code generator, which generates all the code, it has a data communication command communication framework that essentially knows what to do, how to submit the filter, and so on, irregardless of which grid that is the target. And then the grid is automatically updated. And I'll be talking about the grids in a different video, but I'll select that again, and you can see it's fully Ajax driven. That will end the presentation on the filters.